So, like to throw these in soup, though?
Oh yeah, you throw them in
And then
soup.
you just, the julienne will just, your broth will just lighten back up.
They'll come back to life. And they'll re-expand. Yeah. And we can try a few of these today so you can see how that works. Yeah, they'll come back to almost normal size. Yeah, we'll do that on a few of these so you can see what that looks like. All right. So the carrots turned out like they should. Yes. They did. They're so cute. And actually, if you put them in a little jar, you take some of these and put them in a little jar, they'll rattle. That's what you want to hear. So they're good and dry.
We have a very special Master Food Volunteer, Sue Diaz from Storm Lake, who completed the first day of home pressure canning. What were kinds of skills that you learned, or maybe some new pieces of information yesterday?
I had a really great day yesterday. It was really unique for me because I've never been exposed to canning or gardening or anything like food preservation. So it was really exciting for me to learn how to pick vegetables, even how to cut them, which you would think that's a common sense thing to do. But for someone that's never been around that such thing, it was a unique experience for me. It was a great thing to learn that you can preserve your food for a long, long time, and it's actually fun.
Sue, you have helped with Iowa State University Extension with strengthening families. You've worked with a lot of children and moms and dads. Why is the kinds of things you're learning important when you think about food safety or you think about preserving foods?
I think it's important because it's about nutrition as well, and if you learn how to pick better your foods, it will also help you better on your kids' growth.
Very good. What are some things that you're looking forward to? How can you share what you learned?
I would love to teach my Latino community how to do canning and how to teach them about nutrition and how to pick better foods. And I think it's they have background on gardening, so if we just teach them how to do canning, and I think they'll be more willing to do it themselves.
Sue is amongst 10 or 20 volunteers from our 6 counties, and she's certified as a Master Food Volunteer, and we thank her so much for her contribution and volunteer efforts.
Yeah, we'll just dump ours into there. Yeah.
Will these be weights? You're going to have weights? What's that?
I didn't know they were doing it at the end. Are they doing it at the end? That's too much. That's too much, yeah. That's too much.
Margot Sievers represents the Storm Lake or the Rembrandt community and has already served ISU Extension as a Master Gardener, is now looking at completing certification as a Master Food Volunteer. Margot, there's some very unique skills and resources that are being provided to you these 3 days. How important is this training to communities to have volunteers that are working side by side with state specialists?
Well, after being in the classroom for 33 years and recently retiring, I find that to pay for a program is very, very difficult. The funding just isn't there across the board, so we have to take the people that we have and we have to utilize their abilities to help our community and to help our young children and to help the older people in our community too. And I think that this program for me has been very, very good. I've learned just an immense amount of things about food preparation, and I hope to take this and to work with the older communities in our area, and also to work with the young communities in our area. I think giving back, you know, I have the time, I have probably the preset of knowledge, and I like working with instructional, proven materials, research-based materials. I think that that's probably the best way to go. From all my teaching experience, I find that they've cut out a lot of middlemen and a lot of training, and they've given me the best they have. And why not use the best if it's available to you?
The training that volunteers are receiving is really in the form of a lab where you get very in-depth content and research, and then you get to go into a lab-type experience where you get hands-on training. What difference has that made for you yesterday, and then today we're going to look at tomatoes and salsa and some of the food science and safety issues. Why was all of that hands-on exposure so important to the learner?
Again, since I've been a teacher for a long time, I found that really that's the best way to learn. You give the material, you practice in your head so that you have the head information first, but then you always take it and put it into hands-on formation. And once you're working with your hands, it's a brain activity. So you have the knowledge and now you're doing it. And when you work with both parts of your head, the hemispheres blend together, and learning takes place when you can actually do what you've learned. And so for me, this format is really, really probably the best for all of us, no matter if we're aging or if we're young kids. The act of learning is more proactive if you can do. So for me, the learning in the morning pretty much it's been interspersed with fun times, and we have a bunch of jokesters in the crowd, and then we have our serious moments, and all of those cement learning. Then the afternoon, when you can actually practice and demonstrate, when you test take, you go back to not little parts of information, but you go back to the actual learning when you're doing, and that's what you rehearse, and that's how you prove and demonstrate learning in test form or in actual.
Straight there.
Oh, it's boiling. Okay, boiling now? 5 minutes.
Yep. Oh, you're fine, you're fine. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I didn't know about this. Seriously? Here.
We have with us now Faith Blaskovich, and Faith, I want to start out by asking, what have you learned from being a master volunteer as part of this program?
I think one of the most important things I've learned so far after the first day is how important it is to work with foods according to the rules and the scientific research, so that everyone that you share your product with is going to be safe and enjoy that food.
And this is a 3-day session, of course. How do you plan to share your knowledge and what you pick up from this program with the community, and why do you feel this is important?
Just in talking with people, I've noticed that there is more and more interest in producing our own foods in gardens locally, and then preserving those foods in a safe way without all the other additives and preservatives, so to speak. And so to be able to share that knowledge with my friends, with the community, with students, I'm really excited about doing that.
Faith, thanks a lot for your time.
Is that too much? Quarter is there. So hot jars. Yeah, they're harder. Yeah, I know.